A private apology, a desperate message, a final attempt to repair what looked completely shattered. And yet, according to whispers now spreading through royal circles, the answer that came back was colder than anyone expected. Not angry, not emotional, not explosive, just final. Prince Harry reportedly reached out behind the scenes hoping to begin a path back toward his brother. But instead of opening a door, Prince William allegedly slammed it shut even harder. And if the rumors are true, one name remains at the center of everything: Meghan, because this is no longer a story about two brothers arguing. That chapter ended years ago. This is a story about consequences, about trust, about wounds that never heal. And according to those watching closely, William has reached a point where he no longer believes apologies change anything.
Harry and Meghan Markle just have no idea how to do the whole let's not make a terrible situation any worse thing. This is not the time. Like, how stupid are these two? Do you really expect any of us to feel even a scintilla of sympathy about the fact that you lost your grace and favour mansion? Honestly, they're nuts.
Somewhere between California and London, a message was supposedly sent. Not through headlines, not through television interviews, not through documentaries. Quietly, privately, the kind of communication that never reaches the public unless somebody wants it leaked. And that is exactly why people inside royal circles immediately started paying attention. Because Harry has spent years fighting publicly. This felt different. This felt personal. This felt like someone finally realizing the bridge behind him had almost completely disappeared. The timing was impossible to ignore. Public sympathy had become unpredictable. Former allies had become quieter. Projects that once generated excitement were suddenly attracting criticism. And while Harry continued building a life thousands of miles away, one uncomfortable reality kept appearing again and again. William wasn't moving, not an inch.
He'll just go on feeling sort of jealous of George, which is not very nice at all anyway, is it? It's horrible to be jealous of a young child who's full of being brought up very, very well and enjoying life. You know, it's just disgusting, honestly, disgusting. She has made him hate his family. You can have a person in your life who tries to drown you.
That is what makes this story so fascinating. Most family feuds eventually soften. Time passes, people age, priorities change. But every report, every insider whisper, every carefully placed leak seems to point in the opposite direction. William has not softened. If anything, people claim he has become more certain than ever. And that certainty appears to revolve around Meghan, not because of one interview, not because of one documentary, not because of one book, but because William allegedly views everything that happened afterward as part of the same pattern. That is where the tension becomes impossible to ignore, because Harry may see Meghan as his greatest supporter. William may see her as the beginning of the collapse. And those two realities cannot exist in the same room. The deeper people dig into this story, the more they notice something strange. Whenever reconciliation rumors appear, they almost always hit the same wall. Not Charles. William, not palace officials. William, not royal protocols. William, the future king, has become the immovable object standing directly in front of Harry's hopes. And according to growing speculation, the latest apology changed absolutely nothing.
So I'm really annoyed about this. Prince Harry has such a cheek that he is now piling the pressure on Catherine, the Princess of Wales, to step in and try and save his failing relationship with Prince William. Not understanding that it's over, brother. It is gone. Finito. Just accepted. Catherine tried so hard for so long. You threw her efforts back in her face with your continued attacks, not just on William and Camilla, but on Catherine herself. These days, he tries to take both sides of the argument, but having spoken to both couples or sources connected to both couples, the big revelation from him is that Prince Harry doesn't even have William's phone number anymore. That is, of course, a mortifying revelation for the Duke of Delusion, especially given Wakeford goes on to say that even if he did, Prince William would not pick up.
Think about that for a moment. Imagine finally deciding to say sorry. Imagine reaching out after years of headlines. Imagine hoping for some sign that things could improve. Then imagine hearing nothing meaningful in return. No breakthrough, no secret meeting, no emotional reunion, just silence. The kind of silence that says more than words ever could. And the silence becomes becomes even louder when people start looking at William's recent behavior, because actions reveal priorities, and William's priorities appear crystal clear: his wife, his children, his future role, his family's reputation. And that is where the story becomes even more dramatic, because according to the rumors swirling around palace watchers, William's rejection was never really about punishing Harry. In William's mind, the decision may have become something entirely different: protection of Catherine, protection of George, Charlotte, and Louis.
So the situation is this: Harry is waiting for a call William has already decided not to make. Charles, the king, the father, the man nominally in charge of this institution, is reduced to dispatching a deputy secretary to repair what his sons destroyed. A channel of communication has been quietly opened between aides. A games in Birmingham has already been planned around the hope of a public father and son moment. And somewhere in Montecito, a prince is watching his brother thrive and wondering when or whether the phone will ring.
Protection of a future monarchy that William believes cannot survive another round of public warfare. That is the detail people keep overlooking. Years ago, this conflict looked emotional. Today, it looks strategic, and strategy is much harder to reverse. The alleged apology reportedly focused on repairing family relationships, but insiders claim William's thinking has evolved far beyond family feelings. He is no longer asking whether Harry regrets what happened. He is allegedly asking whether anything has actually changed. And that question becomes incredibly uncomfortable, because if William believes Meghan remains the driving force behind Harry's decisions, then every apology immediately runs into the same obstacle. What happens next? What happens after the apology? What happens after the handshake? What happens after the photographs? What happens after the next disagreement? According to Palace Whispers, those are the questions William cannot stop asking himself, and right now he reportedly does not like the answers. Meanwhile, something else has been happening in plain sight. Catherine's public image has grown stronger. William's position inside the institution has become more influential. George is growing older. The next generation is becoming more visible. The monarchy is slowly shifting toward its future, and every step forward makes Harry's absence feel more permanent. That is what makes this entire situation so heartbreaking, because reconciliation becomes harder when life keeps moving. People adapt, new routines form, new priorities emerge. Eventually, the empty chair no longer feels empty, and many royal observers believe that is exactly what has happened. William has built a new reality, a reality that no longer depends on Harry being there, a reality that functions perfectly well without the brother who once stood beside him. That realization alone may be the most devastating part of the entire story, because anger can fade, resentment can cool, but indifference is often the final stage. Then came the detail that truly shocked royal watchers. The reports claiming William continues to draw an increasingly firm boundary around his family, not publicly, not dramatically. Quietly, consistently, methodically, every decision appears to point in the same direction. Protect the future. Protect Catherine. Protect the children. Protect the institution. And if that means keeping distance from Harry and Meghan indefinitely, so be it. That is the perception now taking hold among many observers. Not because William keeps talking, because he doesn't. His silence has become the story. His refusal to engage has become the headline. His absence from reconciliation efforts has become the loudest statement of all. Meanwhile, Harry reportedly remains trapped between two worlds: the life he left behind and the life he built afterward, unable to fully return to one, unable to completely escape the other. And hanging over everything is the same question that refuses to disappear. What if the apology really happened? What if Harry genuinely tried? What if he finally reached the point where he wanted peace? And what if William still said no? Because if that is true, then this feud has entered an entirely new chapter. Not a chapter about arguments, not a chapter about interviews, not a chapter about books, a chapter about permanence, the kind that changes families forever. Back in California, Harry may still hope time can heal the damage. King Charles may still quietly wish for reconciliation. Some friends may still believe a breakthrough remains possible. But the man standing closest to the throne appears to be sending a different message. A colder message. A simpler message. One that reportedly grows stronger with every passing year. The apology may have arrived. The regret may have arrived. The olive branch may have arrived. But according to the rumors now dominating royal gossip circles, they arrived too late. Because William no longer appears focused on repairing the past. He appears focused on protecting the future. And in that future, according to those watching closely, Meghan remains the line he refuses to cross, which leaves one haunting possibility hanging over the entire royal drama. Harry may still be searching for a way back, but William may have already decided there isn't one.